joined us. Don't forget you can put in comments and questions. We're really glad you joined us on this sunny Sunday morning. Now, a lot of things have been going on here at HBC this week, particularly on holiday. So we thought we'd open with a little bit of a recap about what we've done. Here's Daz with a little review.
Hello church, we are currently in the last day of our holiday club. Everybody's making lots of crafts, we're doing fun things. We have been all week looking at the theme, ready, set, move. You can't see it, it's sticking out there. Ready, set, move, following Jesus, here, there and everywhere. Looking at the life of Paul and all the different things he got up to. And every day the children have heard that if we follow Jesus, it can be exciting, it can be amazing, it can be confusing, it can be misunderstood, but it's always worth doing, and God always takes care of us in the end. Hopefully that gives you a little flavour of what we've done. There's cardboard everywhere where you're sitting right now, but every day the children have gone home, really haven't had a great time. They come running in every day. It'll be sad to finish today, but we've had a great time this week at Ready Set Move Holiday Club. Thank you for everybody that helped. You've been fantastic, and it wouldn't have happened without you. Please pray for all these children who've heard the good news that God is a God who cares about them and loves them and wants them to follow him. Just pray that God really blesses them after their experience. Thank you, church.
Doesn't it? I'm a bit too old for that. Yeah. So running around, sitting corner quiet.
Exactly. Right. So after that, it's really exciting. What we're doing this morning, we're actually continuing our series called Fruitfulness on the Frontline, and that's helping us to imagine how God can work in and through us, right where we are. Where God has placed us.
That's right. And I don't know about you, but you can always hear that challenge to be a messenger. And to be honest, most of us, it freaks us out, doesn't it? Because it's got a smell of evangelism about it. And that's quite intimidating.
Exactly. There also these pictures of what evangelists.
Oh, yeah.
Actually standing in front of the crowd, Hyde Park corner.
Yeah.
Corner.
Oh, yeah, there's a thought. Let's not do that. Eh?
Exactly.
Yeah, but there you go. But being an ambassador or being a messenger for God can be quite intimidating.
Hearts soften, wounds heal, people set free. Home, school, work, a nation changed. Day by day.
So there you go. So we're still looking at fruitfulness on the front line this morning, and what does that mean? So this morning we're thinking about being a messenger. Here's the question: where is your front line? So where's your front line, and what has being a messenger in that place mean to you? And maybe what doesn't it mean?
Well, I think my obvious frontline is at work. So
Yeah.
I work at the hospital.
Join the club. We're both NHS this morning, so you get a
Yes. And I think I remember years and years ago. I'm not someone who can sort of share my faith on my sleeve. Actually, I
Yeah.
think you have to because you have your little dog collar on. Don't you?
I do. Well, every now and again I'll walk around with a dog collar on at work
Yeah.
because that's my
So
job. I'm a
so it's
chaplain.
easier for you.
Yeah.
But actually, I think I can't go in and just say, right, this is going to happen. God's doing this. God's doing that. And God's doing this. I think my way this guy shows is actually just the way that I approach people and actually trying to get alongside people. And I always think Jesus went into those dark places.
Yeah. It is about that, isn't it? I think it's just about being alongside people and being you.
Yeah.
I think the risk is when you think about being a messenger, you end up starting to be something you're not,
Yes.
and that doesn't work
No.
because everybody knows you're
Of
not
course
really
they do.
like
Yes,
that.
of course they do.
Whereas if you can just be yourself, and, I always think it's about influence, isn't it?
Yeah.
How can I influence? Jesus talks about salt and light.
Mhm.
How can I be a positive? I always wonder. This is a scary question. If I've got, so I had a day off on Friday. If I'm not in, does everybody go, oh no? Yeah. Does everybody go, oh no, Phil's not in, or it's a bit boring because Phil's not in,
Yeah.
or we don't laugh as much because Phil's not in,
Yeah.
or do they go, Phil's not in, way?
Yes.
And I pray it's not the second one.
Yeah.
But I think that's my view of being a messenger, is that I make it better by being there.
You are, exactly.
Yeah. And
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah. And people miss you when you're not there. I think that's one of the best influences you can have. And then at some point you get a chance to talk about it, don't you? Yeah.
Yes, and I remember years and years ago when I was a junior nurse, I used to pray almost like putting on gloves. There's a verse somewhere, I don't know what it is, but putting on gloves and actually almost putting on Jesus' hands. So when I was sort of doing the care and stuff, it's a bit profound, really, isn't it?
That was very good. I'll remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it talks about being Jesus' hands and feet, didn't it? Was that prayer? That was a prayer somewhere, wasn't it? Was it Mother Teresa? It might have been Mother Teresa.
Might have been.
The answer is usually either Jesus or Mother Teresa,
Yes.
whatever the question is.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's a good point, isn't it? How could you do it in the way that Jesus would do it?
Yeah.
Can you be like him, everyone, and bring a bit of life and joy and all of those things to the place where you work, really? Yeah. Or where you live, because some of you might not be working, you might be in the neighbourhood, you might be taking the kids to school, but can you do the same thing there?
Yes.
Do people miss you when you're not there? Can you be his hands and his feet?
Yeah.
And does it make a difference to other people's lives? A positive difference?
It doesn't need special words.
No, you don't have to have clever arguments and stuff like that. No. So let's take the anxiety out of this. Being a messenger. You know what? Being a messenger is being you and being the best version of you wherever you are. And God can use that. God can use that. And expect him to. So that'd be really good. Yeah. Now we got a reading about this. This was actually my baptism reading.
Was it?
Yeah, this was given to me at my baptism when I was a lot younger. So there you go.
Right, so I'm going to do that reading. The reading's actually from 1 Peter chapter 3, it's just a couple of verses, verse 15. And it says, instead, you must worship Christ as Lord of your life. And if someone asks about your hope as a believer, always be ready to explain it. But do this in a gentle and respectful way. Keep your conscience clear. Then if people speak against you, they will be ashamed when they see what a good life you live because you belong to Christ.
Yeah, there it is again. It's that
It is
life.
actually, I was just thinking
It's that life you live, isn't it?
exactly.
And it's
Yourself.
and people
Who you
really enjoying you as a human being
Yes.
and getting the most out of it. Yeah, it's great. So, and it does matter doing this because, as our next song says, everybody needs compassion and God is mighty to save. And we need to lean on him and let him do what he can do while we do the bit we can do. So let's listen to this worship song together.
Everyone needs compassion, love that's never failing. Let mercy fall on me. Everyone needs forgiveness, kindness of a Savior, the hope of nations. And Savior, He can move the mountains. My God is mighty to save. He is mighty to save. Forever, author of salvation. He rose and conquered the grave. Jesus conquered the grave. So take me as you find me, all my fears and failures. Fill my life again. Give my life to follow everything I believe in. Now I surrender. Savior, He can move the mountains. My God is mighty to save. He is mighty to save. Forever, author of salvation. He rose and conquered the grave. Jesus conquered the grave. Shine your light and let the whole world see. We're singing for the glory of the risen King. Jesus, shine your light and let the whole world see. We're singing for the glory of the risen King. Savior, He can move the mountains. My God is mighty to save. He is mighty to save. Forever, author of salvation. He rose and conquered the grave. Jesus conquered the grave. Savior, He can move the mountains. Mighty to save. He is mighty to save. Forever, author of salvation. He rose and conquered the grave. Jesus conquered the grave.
Hi folks, we're going now live downstairs, and here's Martin talking about how to be a messenger.
In culture, being a mouthpiece for truth and justice, and what I'm going to be talking about this morning, being a messenger of the gospel. And I'm going to probably talk for about another 25 minutes just about that, just so you can work out whether you need to go to the toilet now. When you were older. Yeah? Keep your hand up if you actually became that. Well, a few. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good, good. Now, I wonder if please don't make me. I never want to be an evangelist. Now, I don't know if you know what an evangelist is, but it comes from a Greek word, which I won't bother telling you what it is, but it basically means a proclaimer of the gospel, a proclaimer of good news. In this case, the good news about Jesus Christ. Someone that goes out there and proclaims, tells people about the good news of Jesus Christ. That is the job. I had a picture of what an evangelist looked like. And maybe you're sitting there going, yeah, I've got a bit of a picture as well, what that looks like. For me, it was the man who I saw every Saturday. We went into Ipswich Town Centre on the Cornhill, and there was a man always standing there telling people to repent of their sins and follow Jesus and shouting. That was one of the pictures I had of an evangelist. Another picture I had was people knocking on doors and wanting to hand out tracts or leaflets about Christianity. That was another picture I had in my mind. Maybe a picture you all had was maybe Billy Graham, the late, great Billy Graham, an evangelist who stood in front of thousands and told people about Jesus. These were the pictures I had in my mind of an evangelist. And I was like, I do not want to do any of that. Please, God, don't make me an evangelist. And maybe you have that same picture in your mind of what an evangelist is. And you know what? If that is your picture of an evangelist, I would say some of you should not be evangelists. First, are not called to stand in front of thousands and tell people about Jesus. Some people are not even called to stand up in the town centre and tell people about Jesus. Some people are not called to knock on doors. I mean, to be honest, I don't like knocking on doors. I don't even like putting leaflets through doors. So, that makes me feel very anxious. So maybe that's not me. Although there is always this idea that we need to push ourselves a bit. But if that's your definition of evangelist, and we can exclude probably the vast majority of people in this church, say, you know what? That's not really for you. I think possibly what I had as a child, and maybe we have now, is a too narrow a view, too narrow a definition of what an evangelist, a proclaimer of the good news of Jesus, actually is and actually does. And maybe because we've got that tight definition, I can say to myself, you know what? I don't have to do that job because that's not me. I don't have those gifts. I don't have that talents. Therefore, it's me, line through that. Don't have to worry about that. See, I don't think that's actually the case. And that's the M we're looking at this morning. We are supposed to be messengers of the Gospels, proclaimers of the good news. And if you're a follower of Jesus, that is something that each and every one of you is called to do. So does that mean you're knocking on doors and preaching in street corners and preaching in front of thousands? I would say I've shared this before, I went on something called Mojo. Now, it's nothing to do with Austin Powers, if you know who he is. It's the ministry of Jesus out there. And it's just a group of Christians who decide that they are going to go somewhere and proclaim the good news of Jesus. And I went along to Hastings. I'd never been to Hastings before. And I just met with a group of guys that I've never met before. And the idea was we would go into the town centre in Hastings and make it and draw attention to ourselves and tell people about Jesus. This was massively outside of my comfort zone. This is not something I wanted to do, but I recognized the need for me to step out of my comfort zone. Like I said, I don't want to even knock on doors, let alone stand in street in the town centre. And we did the first time. It was crazy. It was weird, but it was quite fun as well. And I decided, so we did that, and we just made lots of noise and sung songs and prayed for people and did all sorts of funny, weird things. But the second time, I got invited again, and we went again. And this time, we had a few extra people. We had this. I say lady, she's probably in her 20s, so I don't want to say girl. But she was a new Christian. She was passionate about her faith, but she was very nervous about all of this, unsurprisingly. And they paired us up, because that's what Jesus did. He paired people up and sent them out. And he said, like, go off and tell people about Jesus. And I was with this girl, and she said, you know what, I'm a bit scared. I can't pray for people. And I went, that's all right. I can't talk to people, but I can pray. I'm a minister. I can do that. She said, okay, what I'll do, I can talk to people. I will go and talk to people. And then at some point, I'll hand over to you to pray for them. Like, great, a partnership, brilliant. So I said, what do you want to do first? She said, well, I want to go and there's a homeless guy over there. I want to go and ask him if he wants a coffee and get one from McDonald's. So we went over and said, do you want a coffee? Yeah. So got a McDonald's. I can do that. I can buy someone a coffee. And so she just talked to him and spoke to him and just showed love and compassion to him. And then she just said, got to the point, says, would you mind if we prayed for you? Oh, yeah, that'd be nice. Over to me. I can do that bit. And I managed to pray for him. See, the reality is that is evangelism, but I couldn't do the talking bit, but I could do the praying bit. She couldn't do the praying bit, but she could do the talking bit. We all have different gifts and skills that enabled us to connect with people and to share something of Jesus with the people we meet. See, some of you are amazing at connecting with people. I'm not going to ask you to put your hand up, but some of you just are really good at relating to people. I don't know. See, my wife, I'm going to embarrass her here, but when we first met, she introduced me to one of her best friends, who happened to be her hairdresser. And you became best friends because she was your hairdresser. Now, when I go to the barbers, I don't want to even talk to the person cutting my hair. But some of you, like Jen, are able to connect with people to such extent that they move from being someone that's cutting their hair or serving them at the Tesco's counter to actually becoming friends. See, when it comes to evangelism, if we just got this narrow view, this narrow understanding of what that means, we can miss out on so much of connecting with people and sharing Jesus with people because we all have different gifts and talents, and we can come together to make this work. We are going to look at our Bible, which is always a good thing to do. And we're going to look at a letter called 1 Peter. It's in the New Testament. I'm using the Bible, which is just at the back. Friends of Jesus. So this was a guy who had been trained by the best. And we can read about was a bit of a firebrand. He was very confident and Jesus asked him a particular question. Peter was the guy who, when the high priest guards came to